Have you ever felt like you were running on a treadmill at work? You give your time, your energy, even your health, and the world still says, "Good job, now do it again tomorrow." I once met a guy named Daniel. He worked late every night, skipped family dinners, even missed his son's first baseball game. He thought, if I sacrifice now, they'll reward me later. But when promotion season came, they gave the title to a guy who played golf with the boss twice a month. Sound familiar? Drop a comment if you've ever thought, wait, hard work is supposed to pay off, right? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Our system isn't fair. It quietly rewards the ones who understand power, connections, and leverage, while people like Daniel, people like most of us, stay trapped in something called moral labor. We work harder, we endure more because we think suffering is noble. But today, we're going to break that belief. By the end of this video, you'll see why the moral labor trap keeps you stuck and how to finally step out of it without losing your integrity. Let's talk about the trap most hardworking people don't even realize they're in. It's called moral labor. Moral labor is that little voice in your head saying, if I work harder, if I sacrifice more, people will notice. They'll reward me. Someday, it will all pay off. Sounds noble, right? But here's the problem. The system loves this mindset because it keeps you obedient. I once coached a woman named Sarah, a nurse who worked double shifts for 5 years. She covered for sick coworkers, volunteered for weekend shifts, and always said yes. She believed the hospital would take care of her. But when a promotion opened, it went to someone who had been there half her time, someone who had coffee with the director every Thursday. She told me, I felt invisible, like all my sacrifices didn't count. And science actually backs up her feeling. A 2020 study from Harvard Business School showed that employees who over-contribute without claiming credit are less likely to get promoted because managers subconsciously assume they're fine where they are. Meanwhile, the people who strategically show their value, not just work harder, get noticed. Here's the painful twist. Moral labor feels like loyalty, but in reality, it's a psychological cage. It trains you to obey the unspoken rule. Work hard, don't question, wait for someone else to validate you. And the trap gets tighter because society praises this behavior. We hear things like, good employees don't complain. Sacrifice now, rewards will come later. But later often never comes. So here's my mini hook for you. What if the very thing you thought was your strength, your loyalty and endurance, was actually the reason you feel stuck? Before we break down how to escape this invisible trap and reclaim your power, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been the invisible workhorse at your job? Type yes in the comments if this hits home.
If moral labor is the invisible cage, then Nietzsche was the guy who tried to hand us the key over 100 years ago. He talked about something he called slave morality. Now, don't let the term scare you. He wasn't literally talking about chains and whips. He was talking about mental chains. Slave morality is what happens when society convinces the weaker or obedient people that suffering is noble, patience is a virtue, enduring unfairness makes you morally superior. Sound familiar? It's the same mindset many workplaces quietly encourage today. Be humble, don't make noise, work hard, and be grateful. I'll give you a real story. Meet Tom, an IT specialist I coached. For 10 years, he fixed everyone's tech problems. Weekend calls, he picked up. Vacation, laptop in hand. He thought, if I stay humble, the company will eventually reward me. But when a manager position opened, guess what? They hired someone from outside the company, someone bold enough to ask for what he wanted. Tom was devastated. And when he told me a story, I thought, this is exactly what Nietzsche warned about. The system wants people like Tom to keep serving quietly, because quiet people don't threaten the hierarchy. Here's where Nietzsche flips the script. He said, real freedom comes when you reject the moral story that suffering is holy. Instead of waiting for permission or divine recognition, you start creating your own values, your own path. In modern terms, you stop being the office saint and start being the author of your own promotion. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Are you saying I should become selfish or ruthless? No. I'm saying stop worshiping struggle for its own sake. Use your energy to build leverage, not just loyalty. Here's a little humor break. I once asked a client, when's the last time your company thanked you for being humble? He laughed and said, never. But they sure thanked me when I fixed the CEO's Wi-Fi. Exactly. Results and influence speak louder than silent suffering. So here's my question for you. Which one are you living right now? Slave morality or author morality? Drop it in the comments. Because in the next part, we're diving into why your sense of fairness and organizational justice matters more than you think, and how recognizing it can save your career before burnout hits. Let's be honest, nothing crushes motivation faster than feeling the system is rigged. You can work late, hit every target, even skip lunch for weeks, but when the promotion goes to the boss's golf buddy, suddenly your soul whispers, why do I even bother? This isn't just a feeling. Psychologists call it organizational justice. Basically, how fair you believe your workplace is. Research from Colquitt et al., 2001, Journal of Applied Psychology, shows that when employees feel unfairly treated, productivity and loyalty drop like a rock. Here's how fairness, or the lack of it, shows up. 1. Distributive justice. Are rewards, promotions, and pay distributed fairly? Or is it just a game of office politics? Procedural justice. Do people trust the process for decisions, or does everything feel like it's decided in a secret meeting at the golf course? Interactional justice. Do leaders respect and communicate honestly with their people, or do they treat you like a replaceable keyboard? I once worked with a client named Jessica, a high performer in a marketing agency. One day she found out she was making 20% less than a new hire, someone she actually trained. No explanation. She didn't quit immediately, but something inside her switched off. She started doing the bare minimum. 6 months later, she left for a competitor, and the original company was shocked. This happens every day in companies worldwide. When leaders ignore fairness, employees silently take back power by leaving, disengaging, or even quiet quitting. Here's the funny part. I asked a manager once why he gave a bonus to his friend instead of the top performer. He said, well, he always laughs at my jokes. I told him, congrats, you just paid $5,000 for a fan club. So, why does this matter for you? Because recognizing this pattern gives you two choices. Stay trapped in moral labor, hoping the system wakes up, or start building your own leverage, so your career isn't at the mercy of someone else's mood or favoritism. And that leads perfectly into our next point. If the system can't guarantee your success, how do you take back control and create your own power? That's exactly what we'll explore in the next part.
At some point, we all face this uncomfortable truth. Working harder doesn't always mean winning. I learned this from my friend Mark, a brilliant software engineer. He pulled 70-hour weeks, skipped vacations, and fixed every crisis at the company. When promotion season came, he got a polite pat on the back, while someone else got the title because, well, they were good at networking. Translation, they played golf with the VP. Sound familiar? The turning point for Mark was when he realized if you keep waiting for the system to reward you, you might be waiting forever. Here's what the most successful people I've coached actually do. 1. Control the value you create. Don't just produce work. Create outcomes that you can leverage outside the company if needed, like a personal portfolio, skills that clients would pay for, or your own audience. 2. Say no to moral traps. You are not obligated to accept every extra task for the team if it doesn't serve your growth. I once told a client, if you keep saying yes to everything, congratulations, you're the office doormat. He laughed, but also updated his LinkedIn that week. 3. Set boundaries without apology. Power starts with protecting your time, energy, and focus. Start small. Decline meetings that don't need you, or politely refuse work that someone else is just offloading. You'll be surprised how fast people respect you once you respect your own limits. 4. Write your own rules. The ultimate level of power is when you're not trapped by one system. Whether it's starting a side project, building an online skill, or developing expertise people seek out, you're creating your plan B before you need it. Here's the funny part. Once Mark stopped overgiving and started setting boundaries, his boss suddenly valued him more. It's ironic. When you stop begging for recognition, people often give it to you. So here's the real key. Stop waiting for permission. Stop hoping the system will finally see your hard work. Instead, create a life where your value is undeniable, inside or outside any job. And this naturally leads us to the most important takeaway of today's journey. How do you step out of the invisible cage of moral labor and start building freedom, meaning, and emotional peace for yourself? Stick with me, because that's exactly what we'll unlock in the next section. So let's take a breath together. We've walked through the uncomfortable truths. The system doesn't always reward the hardest worker. Moral labor can keep you trapped in an invisible cage, and true success comes from building your own power. But here's the most liberating truth. You don't need to burn out, wait for luck, or beg for recognition anymore. The moment you stop chasing permission and start creating your own value, that's when life begins to feel lighter, freer, and yours again. I've seen this transformation in hundreds of people I've coached. At first, they felt stuck, frustrated, even betrayed by the system. Then, slowly, they started to shift, setting boundaries, learning new tools for mental clarity, and most importantly, healing the emotional weight of carrying everyone else's expectations. And speaking of emotional freedom, if you've been feeling that heavy cloud of stress, guilt, or burnout, there's a method that can clear your mental space in ways most people never imagine. It's called Ho'oponopono. It's an ancient Hawaiian practice updated by experts like Dr. Joe Vitale and Dr. Hugh Len that helps you release negative emotions, forgive deeply, and reset your inner energy. The best part? You can learn it online, at your own pace, and even earn a global certification so you can use it personally or as a part of your professional growth. If this resonates with you, check out the Ho'oponopono certification program in the description. It's a simple, powerful step to stop waiting for outside approval and start building the emotional freedom and clarity you deserve. Now, I want to hear from you. Which part of today's message hit you the hardest? Drop a comment. I read every single one. And if this video helped you see your work and life differently, share it with someone who needs that wake-up call. Your future isn't in the system's hands anymore. It's in yours.